This is Valley News Live at 5.
We begin on this Tuesday with a COVID relief funding fraud investigation scheming to steal $250 million from the federal child nutrition program. The Department of Justice announced that 47 people have been charged in 6 separate indictments. Valley News Team's Justin Betty joins us now live in the studio with details. Justin?
Mike, a U.S. attorney says this alleged scheme was centered around a Minnesota nonprofit Feeding Our Future, which dissolved in February. The defendants are accused of creating dozens of related shell companies to enroll in a federal program meant to help provide food to kids in need. But instead, they're accused of simply keeping the money for themselves, buying property, cars, jewelry, and other big-ticket items. $250 million worth in all. A U.S. attorney, Andrew Luger, calls it the biggest pandemic relief fraud case in the country.
In March 2020, early in the pandemic, a small group of people in Minnesota had an idea and saw an opportunity. These individuals believed that they could steal tens of millions of dollars from a federal child nutrition program by claiming to serve food to needy children when they were not. Their goal was to make as much money for themselves as they could while falsely claiming to feed children during the pandemic.
Nearly all of the defendants are from Minnesota, from the Twin Cities area. A few are from Ohio. Luger said today 3 of the people charged are expected to plead guilty. Overall, authorities have seized about $50 million in assets so far related to these alleged crimes, and Luger says he expects that number to grow. Mike?
All right, thanks, Justin. Let's turn our attention now to the weather and get the latest from our chief meteorologist, Hutch Johnson. Hutch, it looks like people are out golfing.
Yeah, we're golfing in some places. Other places we have that umbrella handy. We have a wide range of conditions across our very large viewing area. Here's a look from our home of economy location in Devil's Lake. Clouds and a few sprinkles still present there, so the umbrella will come in handy. All of us have winds. Those winds are from a northerly direction. Here's the latest radar. That is why we're seeing the dark clouds in the Devil's Lake Basin. Some sprinkles are working their way eastbound along the Highway 2 corridor. A big break in any precipitation here in the Red River Valley counties of Minnesota and North Dakota, and a few spotty sprinkles from Red Lake Falls all the way up into the southern reaches of Lake of the Woods County. Check this range out. 63 right now in Devil's Lake, and we have low 90s down in Sioux Falls, 92 degrees, about a 30-degree swing in temperatures. Here in Grand Forks and Fargo, we're right in the middle of the transition that's taking place. But there's cold air to the north of us, and well, it's going to punch on in. So we have, for the night, a windy evening that will continue to be breezy with gusts over 25 miles per hour, sneaking into the 50s. We stay dry in Fargo, but our weather coming up, we got a little bit of everything. Some chilly weather, some wet weather. Northern lights, we're going to spell it all out here in your hour-by-hour forecast, Mike, coming up in just a few moments.
Sounds like you're going to be busy.
A lot to look at.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
A Moorhead woman is in jail after police say she stabbed someone during a fight this morning. Police say 28-year-old Jasmine Maola was fighting with someone when the stabbing took place in the 5400 block of 28th Avenue South. She's in the Cass County Jail for aggravated domestic assault and interfering with a 911 call. The victim has non-life-threatening injuries. Several injuries today in Chicago. That's where a building partially collapsed. 8 people were transported from the scene following an explosion. The 4-story building was heavily damaged. The adjacent building was also evacuated as a precaution. Firefighters entered the structure to shore it up, so crews were able to get a deeper look inside the building to look for more victims. The cause of the blast has not yet been determined. An Otter Tail County man is in a coma after rolling his motorcycle near Staples, Minnesota. State Patrol says 28-year-old Devin Hoper of Vining was on Highway 210 yesterday morning when he left the road and rolled. A social media post from his family says that Devin will be kept in an induced coma for a few days, but his prognosis is better than expected. Bond has been set for the man accused of running down a teenager with his car. Court documents say 41-year-old Shannon Brandt called 911 and admitted that he hit 18-year-old Kayler Ellenson of Grace City, North Dakota with a vehicle because he thought he was being threatened. Brandt told dispatchers that the two had been in an argument over politics. He's charged with criminal vehicular homicide and leaving the scene of a crash involving injury or death. Neighbors in Thief River Falls are still dealing with the effects and destruction of a trailer explosion that occurred on September 8th. We invite you to join us tonight on Valley News Live at 6. We're going to return to that neighborhood where residents are trying to recover. The special master appointed to review documents seized from former President Trump's Florida home last month held its first conference with lawyers from both sides today. Already, the former president's legal team is pushing back on a request for more information. Natalie Brand has the very latest from Washington, D.C.
Federal Judge Raymond Dearie met with lawyers for former President Trump and the Department of Justice Tuesday for the first time as he begins his role as special master reviewing documents seized from Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. Ahead of the conference, Trump's team filed a motion pushing back on the special master's request for information regarding his claim that he had declassified seized materials. They say doing so could harm their defense if the former president is indicted.
If the former president wants this review now, then I think it's reasonable to assume that he has to give the information necessary. If he's unwilling to do it, then I would think that the judge would simply say, okay, for now, we're going to assume that the documents that say they're classified are classified.
The court order selecting Dearie gives him until November 30th to review the more than 11,000 records and determine if any of the materials are protected by attorney-client or executive privilege. It also instructs him to prioritize documents marked as classified. U.S. government lawyers have urged Dearie to hire a third-party vendor to scan the seized documents in order to streamline the review process. As the special master's work begins, the DOJ has appealed the ruling by a Florida federal judge to pause its review of documents with classified markings, saying it harms its investigation. In a filing in the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, the former president's team argued for continuing the freeze on the government's review and called the appointment of the special master, quote, appropriate and necessary. Monday night, former President Trump returned home to Mar-a-Lago for the first time since last month's FBI search and was greeted by groups of supporters. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Washington.
The former president posted on his Truth social media account calling the search a break-in and claiming his home was ransacked. This week marks 8 years since an NDSU student went missing and was found dead in Moorhead. Tom Bierson was a freshman at the university in 2014 when he went missing after a party and was found days later in a Moorhead RV park. No suspects have been arrested. Police have not released any new information. A North Dakota soldier killed during the Korean War will finally be coming home to be laid to rest at the end of the month. Army Private First Class Melvin Bear of Standing Rock will be interred at All Nations Veterans Cemetery on September 30th. He was reported missing in action in February of 1951 after his unit was attacked in South Korea. Little Bear was a prisoner of war in North Korea, where he died in custody later that summer. He was just 21 years old. His remains have gone unidentified until just a few weeks shy of 71 years since his death. Hundreds of people have arrived in North Dakota over the years, coming from all over the world, eventually becoming U.S. citizens. And Valley News Team's Kellen Harmon shows us how long some have had to wait and why they say it's worth it.
There was a large group of accomplished people leaving NDSU's Berry Hall, but they weren't college students. They were 140 husbands, wives, brothers, and sisters from all over North Dakota that walked out of the building as new citizens of the United States. It took place over 2 ceremonies, with the oath of allegiance, a message from the president, and the feeling of relief, as some had waited anywhere from 5 to 30 years.
I'm very proud, and it's been, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. It feels like I'm complete now.
I feel like freedom is like lift something from my chest, you know. I did it, yes. That's all I feel right now.
This place just already feels like home, so I feel like I'm being adopted into my family, so it's great.
They weren't alone in their celebration, as many of those being naturalized had their families along to support them.
My kids are here, my wife, my sister are both with me today, and we going through a very wonderful experience right now.
This day is huge for us, just for her to become a citizen. Finally went through its paperwork. This is a wonderful, great day for us. It was very exciting to see all the other people here too as well.
The road ahead looks bright as the new citizens celebrate a great day and an even greater outlook on their future as U.S. citizens.
I'm very proud, I'm very happy, and I hope I can serve United States in a good manner.
This means so much. I was limited to some of the opportunities, but right now it's going to be different.
I love America.
Reporting in Fargo, Kellen Harmon, Valley News Live.
Congratulations to each and every one of you. The United States Citizen and Immigration Services says that North Dakota has welcomed 638 new citizens in just the last 9 months. Stick around later on Valley News Live at 5. How staying up late can impact your health.
And we enjoyed some blue skies in the FM area today. Check out the clouds as they formed in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere over our area today. Beautiful conditions. Your hour-by-hour forecast shows the 80s and 90s will be a thing of the past. I'll have details in your hour-by-hour forecast next.